Greetings, I'm Anthony F. Elmore, President and Founder of the Proud Black Buddhist World Association. What I'd like you to know are those of you who are part of the Proud Black Buddhist World Association. You must do Namu. Namu means to awaken. Now, the word Yo means correct. You must awaken to the correct. Ho means law, the correct law. And Renge means cause and effect. And the word Kyo means to overcome delusion. You must overcome the delusion of misrepresented teachings. Now, I would like to refer you to a scientific research study that proves the caste system began only 1900 years ago when white folk got in power in India. You see, please refer to a Time magazine article dated August 27, 2013. The magazine article title reads, quote, "What DNA testing reveals about the caste system. DNA does not tell a lie, and it's based on science." Now, it was only until the Shaka era, that's 78 AD to 140 AD, do we find the caste system. You see, the Shaka, the word Shaka means foreign. When the foreigners came to India, they were the ones who set up the caste system of color. There was no such thing as caste during the time of the Buddha. See, please Google the word. This is a time in history when foreigners ruled northern India. Shaka means foreigner in Sanskrit. In plain and simple terms, white people, specifically under the Buddhist Kushan king Kanishka, do we find the caste system. Let me make one thing clear. There was no caste system at the time of the Buddha because there were no white people in India at the time of the Buddha in 650 AD. We have to look at history. We have to look at archaeology, anthropology, literary science. We have to look at genetic science. Because what happened, ladies and gentlemen, was in the AD, the Brahmins or the white people got a hold of the history and they rewrote the history. They came up with this thing called the Aryan Invasion Theory. They came up with a teaching called the Vedas and they rewrote the history. Now, what we call India today, science proves that the people came from the Indus Valley civilization. We have archaeology, anthropology, genetic science, literary science that proves at the time of the Buddha in 650 BC, there were no people in India called white people. In the time of Homer, India was known as Eastern Ethiopia. Now, in regards to world history, we can refer to Herodotus, who is known as the father of history, a white Greek who traveled to India and Egypt. And this is what the father of history writes about India and Egypt. He quotes, "And upon his return to Greece, they gathered around and asked, 'Tell us about the great land of the blacks called Ethiopia.' And Herodotus said, quote, 'There are two great Ethiopian nations, one in sin, that's India, and the other in Egypt.'" This is from Dodorus, the Greek historian, 100 BC. We can move to modern writings on the subject, but we have to read specialty books. Please just Google the book. It's a free book from the Journal of Royal Asiatic Society of Great Britain and Ireland. The society was founded in London in 1823. its royal charter purpose was to further the investigation of subjects connected with and for the encouragement of science, literature, and arts in relation to Asia, mainly India. Now, Shakyamuni Buddha, ladies and gentlemen, came from the Magadha Empire. Science proves that Magadha Empire was founded by Sisu Naga, and the people of Magadha came from the Indus Valley civilization. At the time of the Buddha, there is no archaeological, anthropological, genetic science, or literary science shows people who we know as white people living in ancient India. People who we call white people were just moving into Africa. All we have to do is study history. But let me take you even as far as 300 BC to Megadesthenes. Now, the ancient Greek ambassador from 350 to 290 BC was an Indian ethnographer who explored the Hellenistic period, the author of a work called the Indica. He was born in Asia Minor and became ambassador of Seleucus I, Nika of the Seleucid dynasty, possibly that of Chandragupta Maurya. Now, this Greek ambassador never saw white people in India. How can there be a caste system when you had no light-skinned people in power? During the time of the Buddha, there was only black kings in power, and there was no such thing as a caste system. There is no archaeological, anthropological, genetic science, literary science of any caste system in northern India in 650 BC. What is taught and accepted by most Asian Buddhist teachers is the false Aryan Invasion Theory that lacks scientific credibility. Now, it is noted by Dr. R.P. Hosh, we do not find the word Hindu in any ancient Hindu or Aryan literature. The question is how the propagation gained currency without any archaeological and literary evidence that the Rig Veda in the Hindu culture are interior to Buddhism. They do not have any carbon dating of the Rig Veda. The Rig Veda is written in Sanskrit. However, Sanskrit is the mother of Sanskrit and the language of the Buddhists. Ladies and gentlemen, before the AD, there is not one archaeological evidence of Sanskrit written before AD. Now, they do not have any carbon dating. The Hindu do not have any archaeological or literary evidence of Sanskrit of Hindu culture interior to Buddhism. The Hindu boasts of their Vedas are the treasure house of all knowledge and sciences. Dr. M. Becker, during a debate of the Indian Constitution, asked Brahmin intellectuals to produce any mantra which could produce gold if their Vedas are treasures of houses of scientists, but no one came forward. He told them, it was Dr. Becker who stood there and told them Brahmins, tell you what, y'all talk about y'all Vedas, you talk about your science, produce me one single archaeological evidence, some literary evidence of the Vedas. They could not produce one single archaeological, anthropological, genetic science, no evidence of the Vedas. All they got is a theory because them suckers went in there and rewrote history. That it was Dr. M. Becker who proved there was no such thing as a Hindu before Buddhism or the Buddha. Therefore, it's impossible for the Buddha to have been a Hindu. Now, we do know about the Hindu is that they changed Buddhist history with their false teachings called the Vedas, whereas they tell of an Aryan Invasion Theory that has been disproven by science, and the Buddha was no Hindu as Asians teach. Now, in his last speech, called the Nirvana Sutra, the Buddha admonished us to put faith in the law and not in persons. It does not matter if it is a Black Buddhist teacher, an Asian Buddhist teacher, a white Buddhist teacher, we must put faith in the law and not persons. Now, the Buddha's highest teachings was that of the Lotus Sutra. The essence of the Lotus Sutra is in the title. We chant Namu Myoho Renge Kyo. The word Namu means to awaken or give reverence or to devote ourselves to the Lotus Sutra. The title of the Lotus Sutra is Myoho Renge Kyo. The word Myo means to open. It means wonderful. It means incomprehensible. The word Ho means law, or the 3,000 realms of universal phenomena. In essence, we devote ourselves to the correct law. The word renegade represents the symbol of the lotus that represents the irrefutable law of cause and effect. The word Kyo means the Buddhist teachings are to overcome delusion. The point is clear that most of the Asian Buddhist teachers teaching delusion, they are teaching us to become delusional. In the case of Asian Buddhist teachings, we have archaeology, anthropology, genetic science, literary science. In the case of Buddhist teaching, that is established the criteria that is used in Buddhism to justify its validity. Now, if anybody want to talk to Anthony Elmore, don't just criticize. Bring some archaeology. Bring some anthropology. Bring some literary science. Now, in the case of Buddhist teachings, the Buddha, or they set a criteria to judge the validity of Buddhist teachings. This established criteria in Buddhism is called the three proofs. The first proof is called literary proof. The word Hindu did not exist prior to the Buddha or to Buddhism. In the case, the Sanskrit language where the Vedas were written in, there is no archaeological evidence of Sanskrit prior to the AD. There is no evidence of a caste system during the time of the Buddha. Now, the second criteria to judge the validity of a teaching is theoretical proof. The point is that the theories must not contradict science or empirical evidence. Now, the last of the three proofs is the most important. This is proof of facts. When you study the teachings of the Japanese or many of the Asian Buddhist sects in relationship to the Hindu culture, meaning Sanskrit, a white Buddha, a caste system at the time of the Buddha, and an Asian invasion, they cannot produce proof of fact. There is no carbon dated, there is no archaeological, anthropological, there is no genetic science, literary science, or anything can prove these theories. Now, Dr. Martin Luther King wrote, we should judge not by the color of one's skin, but we should judge one by the content of their character. What is the character of a people who willfully and knowingly misrepresent facts of science in the name of faith? Dr. Martin Luther King wrote, quote, injustice anywhere is injustice everywhere. For any religion to write out the culture, the history, the language of a people and replace it with a rewrite is an injustice to a people. Anyone who willingly misrepresents the facts and brings their character into question. A religion must not misrepresent facts and perpetrate injustices, and those who do so have no moral ground to stand on. This is the point that we make. Please Google Black Buddhist leaders worldwide. Let me say, Google Black Buddhist teachers worldwide. What you will find is the mind of the body snatchers, whereas they all accept a narrative of a white Buddha. Even if they believe in a black Buddha, they are quiet, silent regarding Black Buddhist history, culture, and language. I challenge you, I challenge anyone. Look at a statue, a carved statue that's dated of the Buddha. You will find that there's black hair on the Buddha. This is empirical evidence, archaeological evidence. There is no such thing as a white Buddha. It does not exist. It was anthropologists and archaeologists and British historian Godfrey Higgins who write all the ancient icons prove that the Buddha was a Negro or a black person. We have emphatical evidence of this, yet you got Black Buddhist teachers who will look you in the face. You got Japanese and you got white who will tell you there's a such thing as a white Buddha, but what you're going to see when you see the Buddha, you're going to see the Buddha in orange. That is, that orange is the Hindu colors, and you're going to see an artist-drawn picture, but you are not going to find an archaeological carving of the Buddha that can be verified, because it was the Hindu who changed the Buddha. Now, we said earlier, when you control history of a people, you control the narrative, you control the spirit, you control the mind of a people. When one controls your history, they snatch your mind, body, and spirit. And the father of black history, Dr. Carter G. Woodson, writes, quote, "When you control a man's thinking, you do not have to worry about his actions. You do not have to tell him not to stand here or go yonder. He will find his proper place and stay in it. You do not need to send him to the back door. He will go without being told. In fact, if there is no back door, he will cut one for his special benefit. His education makes it necessary." You see, those African Americans who are trained by Japanese or Asian Buddhist teachers, they teach you to marginalize your black history, your culture, your language. Let me share with you a Buddhist story that whites, Asians, and black Buddhist teachers who are taught by whites and Asians do not tell black people. You see, over 1,000 years before the Buddhist religion made it to China, listen, it was over 1,000 years before the Buddhist religion made it to China, and another 400 years before it made it to Japan. Now, over 500 years before black people ever heard of a religion called Christianity or Judaism, black people practiced Buddhism. Over 1,200 years before black people ever heard of a religion called Islam, black people practiced Buddhism. Not only did the black Buddhists bring Buddhism from the land known in the time of Homer as Eastern Ethiopia, the land we know today is India. India means black. We even know the name of the tribe of the Buddhists who came to Africa from India. The tribe name was Judah. Shakyamuni Buddha had a logo almost 3,000 years ago. The historical Buddha is sometimes called the line of the Shaka. Now, the line of the Shaka, that is the name, that was the Buddha's called, and therefore he is depicted as a lion sitting on a throne. Judah was the tribe of Buddhists noted by the lion, or the Lion of Judah. Now, ladies and gentlemen, listen to me very carefully. There is one thing that black people are guaranteed to get from their Asian Buddhist teachers, and that is non-black inclusion of Buddhist history. In the hood or black community, there is a phonetic pronunciation of the word history. We black people call this his story. We call it his story because racist whites, Asians, and now Buddhist Negroes have written black people out of history. The ideal of black non-inclusion is not okay with Anthony Elmore. Let me be clear. This point is clear. Anthony Elmore is the first black Buddhist teacher in modern world history to teach and lecture on black Buddhist history. Anthony Elmore has lectured and written more about black Buddhist history than any single person in our modern world. Now, let me give you a little history. See, the tribe of Judah was a line. Judah was a group whose southern territory included the capital of Jerusalem, where the kings ruled. The Romans called the United Israel Judea territory Judea after it. The Jews received their name from that. When you talk about the city of Jerusalem, we are talking about Buddhists and the tribe of Judah, who was a tribe of Buddhists noted by the line of Judah. The father of history, Herodotus, visited Egypt and he wrote about Buddhists. They were not called Buddhists, they were called gymnosophists. Some may ask the question, Anthony Elmore, show me some archaeological evidence of Buddhism in Africa. Let me show you the Aphrodite temple in Nagasadan. You can see for yourself the Ahsoka edit of the snake coming out of the lotus flower. When you hear the word Nubian, these are black people of ancient Egypt. Another name for Nubian is Naga, or the snake. Look at the Egyptians with the snake. The snake represents Buddhism of wisdom. We see the snake on the symbol medicine. Please understand that the Bible comes from Buddhist teachings. The book of Genesis comes directly from Buddhist teachings. This is what British historian Godfrey Higgins writes about the God of Eden carved in Nubia by the Buddhists. Sir Godfrey Higgins writes, quote, Mr. Franklin says, another striking instance is recorded by the very intelligent traveler Wilson regarding the representation of the fall of our first parents sculptured in the magnificent temple of Istanbul in Nubia. He says that a very exact representation of Adam and Eve in the Garden of Eden is to be seen in that cave. And the serpent climbing a tree is especially delineated, and the whole subject of tempting of our first parents most accurately exhibited. How is the fact of the mythos of the second book of Genesis being found in Nubia, probably 1,000 miles above Heliopolis, to be accounted for, except that it came from Upper Egypt with the first Buddhists or Gymnosophists? We are Nichiren Buddhists, and in the Go Show titled, quote, the Daimoku of the Lotus Sutra reads, quote, the Lotus Sutra wherein the Buddha honestly discarded expedient means said that one can gain interest through faith alone. One does not gain interest through no Japanese or Asians or white people or black people. We gain entry through Buddhahood through faith alone. See, the kingdom of Kush was an ancient Nubia kingdom situated on the confluences of the Blue Nile, White Nile, and the river at Bara, in what is now the Republic of Sudan. The Kushite era is ruled in Nubia was established after the Bronze Age collapse and the disintegration of the new kingdom of Egypt. It was centered at Napata in its early phase. After King Kasha, the Kushite invaded Egypt in the 8th century BC. The Kushite emperors ruled as pharaohs of the 25th dynasty for a century. During classical antiquity, the Kushite imperial capital was Muro. Muro, in the early Greek geography, the Meroitic kingdom, was known as Ethiopia. For 46 years, the Asians taught me all of their Buddhist history. In 46 years, the Japanese never taught me jack about my Black Buddhist history. What we know now as the land of Kush, that was called by the Greeks as Ethiopia, is recorded by the father of history, Herodotus, that Mero, the capital of Kush, was the cradle of the Gymnosophists. This is what we know about Meroitic script, the language they got, their language from the Buddhists who spoke Kharosthi. Let me give you an example. The Ganges River in India is the most important river in India. The Ganges River was named after an African Ethiopian general by the name of Ganges. Let me be clear. Ethiopians, the black people from Africa, ruled India. They're called Kushites. Please understand that the father of history, Herodotus, called Mero the cradle of the Gymnosophists or Buddhists. These are the facts of history. Number one, we find the edicts of Asoka in Africa. Number two, Flavius Peristratus in the book Apollonia, which proved Buddhists were sent to Upper Egypt in the Meroitic Sudan. Number three, we have visits of Apollonius to the Upper Egyptian and the Meroitic communities of Gymnosophists. Number four, we have mention of the Brahmin, a native of Meroitic Sudan, and Buddhist texts written in the 4th Council in 29 BC. In my lifetime, in my youth, we black people hated our black history, culture, and language. Whites told us that Africans were ugly, ignorant cannibals. If one black people called another black person black, it was equivalent to spitting in the face or calling one an MF. Something happened. We black people stopped defining ourselves in relationship to the racist teachings that whites taught somebody. Now, we black folk learn that black is beautiful, and some other blacks agree. In 1968, When Dr. Martin Luther King got killed, we blacks did not know what to do. It was James Brown who came up with a song that says, "Say it loud, I'm black and proud." In 2008, a skinny little black kid with a funny name, whose father was from Kenya, his mother was a white woman from Kansas, said, "Yes, we can." We see a black man occupy the highest office in the nation, while Asians, whites, and a handful of Buddhist Negroes write black people out of the Buddhist teachings. A new movement sprung up in America in 2012 called Black Lives Matter. This is us. Black Lives Matter. That is, Black Buddhist History Matters. I am Anthony F. Elmore, the first black in modern Buddhist history to stand up and teach our Black Buddhist history. It was us who started the Proud Black Buddhist website in 1990. In 2014, we started the Proud Black Buddhist World Association, telling you why blacks should not follow Japanese and Asian Buddhist teachers. Thank you very much.
A brand new mission to help others make a big decision. We bring to you as no religion. It's not the religion that you expect. It's all about the law, the cause and effect. Devotion to the middle of the call of teaching. We do a lot of wisdom preaching. No more life with any drama. We change the words and change our karma. We bring to you the new Buddha way. We bring to you the new way to pray. After long prayers, a lot of meditation, I bring to you the Buddhist conversation. We can change our human relations. We bring to you the culture integration. It's about peace and love and changing situations. This channel in Buddhism makes a lot of sense. It's about self-development and enlightenment. I made the decision to join the Buddha way. I joined the Buddhist sect called NSA. Buddhism is new to America and like a dream. What does the words of the Chinese mean? Devotion to the middle of the call of the teaching. A different learning from the Christian preaching. Buddhist religion makes a lot of sense. Self-development and enlightenment. Becoming a Buddhist is a good decision. Look at yourself and find inner wisdom. Devotion to the middle of the call of the teaching. While we only have Japanese preaching, the Buddhist religion is the way to go. I will find a leader in Tokyo. I wanted to Buddha way. I should follow sensei. I no longer do it his way. Went to a temple called Taisekachi. The courage of the temple don't relate to me. In 2014 I left the Buddhist temple. I have teach the Buddhism, that's more simple. Literature man that you don't have the knowledge. I want you to check my logic. The whole way I teach Buddhism, I give the people a good rhythm. I'm not like a priest at their temple. I teach Buddhism and make it simple. You don't need a cutter to explain it. Singing and dancing is the of the language. Culture to the middle of the color of the teaching. We teach it with the wisdom preaching. We can teach the wisdom all of it on it. We follow the religion that's shown it. Teach what it is and don't need a mouth. We know how to sing and rap. Let me bring some good news to ya. We practice the Lotus Sutra. You don't have to practice here and after. Just do the 2nd and 16th chapter. Become a happy person, be in Mania. Learn that Lotus Sutra title. Nam yo ho, ringe ko. That's the way that you come on go. Nam yo ho, ringe ko. That's the way that you come on go. I don't care how the Japanese do it. I'm gonna put a little soul to it. I don't give a damn, don't agree. I practice the way that's really me. I respect and love you. I'm gonna practice a Buddhism with my own culture. I know you hate my dance and all the jerking. You're really gonna be upset when I start my twerking. We don't follow the rules and we do no rehearsing. The Buddhists have followed the law and no persons. I don't care if Buddhist practice don't suit you. We follow the law and the Lotus Sutra. Nam your ringgit go. It's the way to make your karma go. Knock your ringgit go. It's the way to make your karma go. Knock your ringgit go. It's the way to make your karma go. Knock your ringgit go. It's the way to make your karma go. Knock your ringgit go. It's the way to make your karma go. Knock your ringgit go. It's the way to make your karma go. Knock your ringgit go. It's the way to make your karma go. Knock your ringgit go. Knock your ringgit go. It's the way to make your karma go. Knock your ringgit go. It's the way to make your karma go. Knock your ringgit go. It's the way to make your karma go. Knock your ringgit go. It's the way to make your karma go.